Time for dinner, Isaiah 56. Thus said Jehovah, guard right ruling and do righteousness. For near is my deliverance to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Blessed is the man who does this, and the Son of Man who becomes strong in it, guarding the Sabbath, lest he profanes it, and guarding his hand from doing any evil. And let not the son of the foreigner, who has joined himself to Jehovah, speak, saying, Jehovah has certainly separated me from his people, nor let the eunuch say, Look, I am a dry tree. For thus said Jehovah to the eunuchs who guard my Sabbaths, and have chosen what pleases me, and are holding on to my covenant. To them I shall give in my house and within my walls a place and a name better than that of sons and daughters. I give them an everlasting name that is not cut off. Also the sons of the foreigner who join themselves to Jehovah, to serve him and to love the name of Jehovah, to be his servant, all who guard the Sabbath and not profane it, and are holding on to my covenant. Then I shall bring to my set-apart mountain, and let them rejoice in my house of prayer. Their ascending offerings and their slaughterings are accepted on my slaughter place, for my house is called a house of prayer for all the people. The Master Jehovah, who gathers the outcasts of Israel, declares, I gather still others to him besides those who are gathered to him. All you beasts of the field who come to devour, all you beasts in the forest. His watchmen are blind, all of them, they have not known. All of them are dumb dogs, unable to bark, dreaming, lying down, loving to slumber. And the dogs have a strong appetite, they never have enough, and they are shepherds. They have not known understanding. All of them look to their own way, everyone for his own gain, for his own end, saying, Come, let me bring wine and fill ourselves with strong drink, and tomorrow shall be as today, even much greater. The righteous one has perished, and no one takes it to heart, and committed men are taken away, while no one understands that the righteous one is taken away from the presence of evil. He enters into peace. They who walk in integrity rest on their beds. But come here, you sons of the sorceress, you offspring of the adulterer and the whore, against whom you are sporting, against whom do you make a wide mouth and stick out the tongue? Are you not children of transgression, offspring of falsehood, being inflamed with mighty ones under every green tree, slaying the children in the valleys under the clefts of the rocks? Among the smooth stones of the streams is your portion. They are your lot. Also to them you have poured a drink offering. You have offered a grain offering. Am I comforted in these? On a high and lofty mountain you have set your bed. There, too, you went up to slaughter a slaughtering. Also behind the doors and their posts you have set up your remembrance. For you have departed from me, and have gone up to them. You have made your bed wide, and made a covenant with them. You have loved their bed, where you saw their hand. And you went to the sovereign with ointment, and increased your perfumes. And you sent your messengers far off, and lowered yourself even to Sheol. You have wearied yourself with your many wanderings, yet you did not say, I give up. You have found the life of your hand, therefore you are not grieved. And of whom have you been afraid or feared, that you have lied and not remembered me, nor taken it to your heart? Have I not been silent even from of old, and you have not feared me? Let me declare your righteousness and your works, for they do not profit you. When you cry out, let your collection of idols deliver you. But the winds shall bear them all away, a breath take them. But he who takes refuge in me shall inherit the land and possess my set-apart mountain. And one shall say, heap it up, prepare the way, take the stumbling block out of the way of my people. For thus declares the high and exalted one who dwells forever, whose name is set apart. I dwell in the high and set apart place, with him who has a bruised and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble, and to revive the heart of bruised ones. For I would not strive forever, nor am I wroth forever, for the spirit would grow faint before me, even the beings I have made. For the crookedness of his unfair gain, I was wroth and I struck him. I hid myself and was wroth, and he went on backsliding in the way of his heart. I have seen his ways, but now I heal him, and I lead him and restore comforts to him and to his mourners, creating the fruit of the lips. Peace, peace to him who is far off, and to him who is near, said Jehovah, and I shall heal him. But the wrongs are like the troubled sea, for it is unable to rest. In its waters cast up mud and dirt. There is no peace, said my Elohim, for the wrong. Cry aloud, do not spare. Lift up your voice like the shofar. Declare to my people their transgression, and the house of Yaakov their sins. Yet they seek me day by day and delight to know my ways. As a nation they did righteousness, and did not forsake the right ruling of their Elohim. They ask of me rulings of righteousness. They delight in drawing near to Elohim. They say, why have we fasted, and you have not seen? Why have we afflicted our beings, and you took no note? Look, in the day of your fasting you find pleasure, and drive on all your laborers. Look, you fast for strife and contention, and to strike with the fist of wrongness. You do not fast as you do this day. You make your voice heard on high. Is it a fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his being? Is it to bow down his head like a bulrush, and to spread out sackcloth and ashes? Do you call this a day? Do you call this a fast and an acceptable day to Jehovah? Is this not the fast that I have chosen, to loosen the tight cords of wrongness, to undo the bands of the yoke, to exempt the oppressed, and to break off every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you bring to your house the poor who are cast out, when you see the naked and cover him, and not hide yourself from your own flesh? Then your light would break forth like the morning, your healing spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The esteem of Jehovah would be your rear guard. Then when you call, Jehovah would answer. When you cry, he would say, here I am. If you take away the yoke from your midst, the pointing of the finger and the speaking of unrighteousness, if you extend your being to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted being, then your light shall dawn in the darkness, and your darkness be as noon. Then Jehovah would guard you continually, and satisfy your being in drought, and strengthen your bones, and you shall be like a watered garden, and like a spring of water whose waters do not fail. And those from among you shall build the old waste places. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations, and you would be called a repairer of the breach, the restorer of streets to dwell in. If you do turn back your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my set-apart day, and shall call the Sabbath a delight, the set-apart day of Jehovah, esteemed, and shall esteem it, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words. Then you shall delight yourself in Jehovah, and I shall cause you to ride on the heights of the earth, and feed you with the inheritance of Jacob your father, for the mouth of Jehovah has spoken. Look, the hand of Jehovah has not become too short to save, not his ear too heavy to hear, but your crookedness has separated you from your Elohim, and your sins have hidden his face from you from hearing. For your hands have been defiled with blood, and your fingers with crookedness. Your lips have spoken falsehood, your tongue mutters unrighteousness. No one calls for righteousness, and no one pleads for truth. They trust in emptiness and speak worthlessness. They conceive trouble and bring forth wickedness. They have hatched adder's eggs, and they weave the spider's web. Whoever eats their egg dies, and when one is broken, an adder is hatched. Their webs do not become garments, nor do they cover themselves with their works. Their works are works of wickedness, and a deed of violence is in their hands. Their feet run to evil, and they hurry to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of wickedness, wasting and ruin are in their highways. The way of peace they have not known, and there is no right ruling in their ways. They have made crooked paths for themselves. Whoever treads in them shall not know peace. Therefore right ruling has been far from us, and righteousness does not reach us. We look for light, but there is darkness, for brightness, but we walk in thick darkness. We feel for the wall like the blind, and we feel as without eyes. At noon we stumble as at twilight, in deserted places like the dead. All of us growl like bears, and moan sadly like doves. We look for right ruling, but there is none, for deliverance, but it is far from us. Our transgressions have increased before you, and our sins witnessed against us, for our transgressions are with us. And as for our crookednesses, we know them, transgressing and being untrue to Jehovah, and turning away from our Elohim, speaking oppression and apostasy, conceiving and pondering words of falsehood from the heart. And right ruling is driven back, and righteousness stands far off. For truth is fallen in the street, and right is unable to enter, and the truth is lacking, and whoever turns away from evil makes himself a prey. And Jehovah saw, and it pleased him, that there was no right ruling. And he saw that there was no man, and was astonished that there was no intercessor. So his own arm saved for him, and his righteousness upheld him. And he put on righteousness as a breastplate, and a helmet of deliverance on his head. And he put on a garment of vengeance for clothing, and wrapped himself with ardor as a mantle. According to their deeds, so he repays wrath to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies. He repays recompense to the coastlands. And they shall fear the name of Jehovah from the west, and his esteem from the rising of the sun. When distress comes like a flood, the Spirit of Jehovah drives at it. And the Redeemer shall come to Sion, and to those turning from transgression in Jacob, declares Jehovah. As for me, this is my covenant with them, said Jehovah. My spirit that is upon you, and my words that I have put in your mouth, shall not be withdrawn from your mouth, nor from the mouth of your descendants, nor from the mouth of your descendants, said Jehovah, from this time and forever. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the esteem of Jehovah has risen upon you. For look, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness the peoples. But Jehovah arises over you, and his esteem is seen upon you. And the nations shall come to your light, and sovereigns to the brightness of your rising. Lift up your eyes all around, and see, all of them have gathered. They have come to you. Your sons come from afar, and your daughters are supported on the side. Then you shall see, and be bright, and your heart shall throb and swell. For the wealth of the sea is turned to you, and the richness of the nations comes to you. A stream of camels covers your head. The dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, all those from Sheba come, bearing gold and incense and proclaiming the praise of Jehovah. All the flocks of Kedar are gathered to you. The rams of Nebaioth serve you. They come up for acceptance on my slaughter place, and I embellish my esteemed house. Who are these who fly like a cloud and like doves to their windows? Because the coastlands wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring your sons from afar, their silver and their gold with them, to the name of Jehovah your Elohim, to the set-apart one of Yisrael, because he has adorned you. And the sons of foreigners shall build your walls, and their sovereigns serve you. For in my wrath I have stricken you, but in my delight I shall have compassion on you. And your gates shall be open continually. They are not shut day or night, to bring to you the wealth of the nations and their sovereigns in procession. For the nation and the reign that do not serve you shall perish, and those nations shall be utterly laid waste. The esteem of Lebanon shall come to you, cypress, pine, and the box tree together, to embellish the place of my set-apart place. And I shall make the place of my feet esteemed, and the son of those who afflicted you come bowing to you, and all those who despised you shall bow themselves at the soles of your feet, and they shall call you city of Jehovah, Sion of the set-apart one of Israel. Instead of you being forsaken and hated, so that no one passes through you, I shall make you an everlasting excellence, a joy of many generations. And you shall suck the milk of the nations, and shall suckle the breast of sovereigns. And you shall know that I, Jehovah, your Savior and your Redeemer, am the mighty one of Yaakov. Instead of bronze, I bring gold, and instead of iron, I bring silver, and bronze instead of wood, and iron instead of stones. And I shall make your officers peace, and your magistrates righteousness. Violence shall no longer be heard in your land, neither wasting nor ruin within your borders. And you shall call your walls deliverance, and your gates praise. No longer is the sun your light by day, nor does the moon give light to you for brightness, but Jehovah shall be to you an everlasting light, and your Elohim your comeliness. No longer does your sun go down, nor your moon withdraw itself, for Jehovah shall be your everlasting light. And the days of your mourning shall be ended, and your people, all of them righteous, shall inherit the earth forever, a branch of my planting, a work of my hands to be adorned. The little shall become 1,000, and the small one a strong nation. I, Jehovah, shall hasten it in its time. The Spirit of the Master Jehovah is upon me, because Jehovah has anointed me to bring good news to the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim release to the captives, and the opening of the prison to those who are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of Jehovah, and the day of vengeance of our Elohim, to comfort all who mourn, to anoint into those who mourn in Sion, to give them embellishment for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. And they shall be called trees of righteousness, a planting of Jehovah to be adorned. And they shall rebuild the old ruins, raise up the former wastes, and they shall restore the ruined cities, the wastes of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the foreigners be your plowmen and your vine dressers. But you shall be called priests of Jehovah. Servants of your Elohim shall be said of you. You shall consume the strength of the nation and boast in their esteem. Instead of your shame and reproach, they rejoice a second time in their portion. Therefore they take possession a second time in their land. Everlasting joy is theirs. For I, Jehovah, love right ruling. I hate robbery for a sending offering. And I shall give their reward in truth, and make an everlasting covenant with them. And their seed shall be known among the nations, and their offspring in the midst of all the peoples. All who see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed Jehovah has blessed. I greatly rejoice in Jehovah. My being exults in my Elohim, for he has put garments of deliverance on me. He has covered me with the robe of righteousness. A bridegroom decks himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorns herself with her jewels. For as the earth brings forth its buds, as the garden causes the seed to shoot up, so the Master Jehovah causes righteousness and praise to shoot up before all the nations.